James White is a mother frogging genius.
We're really gonna roll with that. Alright, welcome back. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of 1-2 Juice. Today is a totally different thing. This is new. Just like 2.0, we had to make something new for it. This is off the rails. It's
it's off the rails.
It's the closest thing to a podcast of Flesh and Blood we're gonna have at this point.
Whack.
If you guys really need that,
We say that next week.
podcast.
Welcome to the Flesh and Blood podcast.
Today we are going to talk about 2.0. Everyone's going to talk about it, using this as clickbait, 100% sure.
Yes. For everyone who has no flipping idea what's going on, Flesh and Blood is a card game that we have been educating you about.
Here's the playlist. Go find it.
Earlier this week, at the time of shooting this, I want to say maybe the 12th of the 12th of April 2022. James White, the creator of Flesh and Blood, dropped a massive announcement about the game moving forward. He talked about state of gameplay,
Right.
Future plans,
Right.
distribution,
Most importantly,
the economy.
basically the economy of Flesh and Blood.
Economy, yeah.
There's a lot of things, both the economy and the competitive values of different things.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people with all this up in their mouths, pissed off.
I see we're shouting.
Yes. Because it's just, guys, it's a trading card game. We'll get to that in a bit.
Let's start with, let's do the sandwich method. Let's make this a fat Big Mac. We'll do a pro and a con.
Okay.
So let's start with the pro. Positive, what's your favorite thing about 2.0?
That a lot of new players now have access to cards that even when I started entering the game, right?
Well, getting hard to get.
Yeah, I was talking to the LGS and I was worried like, yo.
LGS is local game store.
If you didn't know.
Yeah, we don't want to confuse that with anything else.
Invicta FRJ.
Okay.
Not sponsored.
Not yet.
But I was already asking, like, that doesn't make sense. Like, this is an equipment game. If you're talking about RPG and you're from that standpoint, right?
And I can't get it anymore.
How are people signing up for the RPG, making a new character? I can't get my tunic because it's been out of print for 5 years. So that's always been a question, like, immediately I had to address. That's why at the start of it, I wasn't even buying Arya. I was a full-on WTR.
Yeah.
Yo, I was cracking WTR like nobody's
A lot
business.
of acronyms. Anyone who doesn't understand the game right
Welcome
now,
to Wraith.
you should probably be like, you're looking for another video.
But that was the thing. I think that's the
So
pros.
history packs is one of your pros?
Yes, pretty much.
We're not going to talk about the white borders yet. I'll leave that as a con. Let's talk about the con. White borders. Oh my god.
Okay, let's not. What's a pro for you?
Pro for me is I'm very happy to see that James White. Shout out. Let's hook up, man. Let's link up. I don't mind hooking up as well.
No!
We'll talk about that later.
9! Okay.
I'm very happy to see that James and the team, I'm saying it like we're friends now, that Mr. White and the team, they are committed to exploring the lore and storytelling narrative element of the entire game.
Yes.
Because I feel like the reason why I was drawn to Flesh and Blood was that there was some sort of lore and storytelling behind it.
Overarching story.
And now he's like, there's a lore book coming out, there's going to be different forms of literature.
Yep.
I mean, someone told me that there were talks with Netflix. So, let's start talking, James. I don't know. Con.
Yeah, we need to talk about con.
Oh, okay. I guess that's why I'm making the video.
The white border.
Con for me, it's hard because the perspectives that we're having at this table today is one of a collector, and one of a
investor,
more player, right? And I think for me, one thing I wasn't super thrilled to see was, I mean, again, I'm still okay with it, but I was slightly worried. Not worried, just like, that's an interesting choice. But it makes sense as well. The living legend status being tied to signature weapons.
Yes.
That was like, whoa.
That's
What's my Viscera gonna use now?
Yeah, that's. But to be honest, just thinking from the mathematical point of view,
it does make sense.
It solves so many problems because some weapons introduced with new hero abilities are just completely broken weapons. And it doesn't make the game enjoyable at all. But on that note, it really does show that
he's
James is really about the players.
Yo, James, hey, you want to talk about stuff? You know,
he's talking to him like he's
just reach out, man.
I was going to say that I think the biggest pro is the literal update. I don't think there has ever been such a transparent, well-communicated update for any game at all.
I feel seen. Is that what the kids are saying?
And I think
I feel seen.
This needs to be done. This needs to be done periodically.
Oh,
but let's try and breeze through as much as possible from the lighter stuff to the heavier stuff. So, lore. We're talking about
accidentally
lore.
touched the heavier one. Yeah.
Storytelling, world building, character
so
development.
good. I'm so excited.
It needs to be done.
There needs to. I will pick up my Kindle again and start reading.
I think this is a very big factor from a lot of games that people just pass by and breeze through.
Yeah.
People don't care about lore. People don't care about the story behind it.
Yeah.
And it's also one of the reasons why Pokemon does so well. There is an ongoing cartoon, which is their lore.
I have to say the cartoon is subpar though.
For us now, I mean,
yeah, it's pretty.
It's
different. I mean, Pikachu can talk now. I don't dive into that.
But you see, they service the game.
Yes, true.
And it is built on a cartoon. Okay. Let's talk about the products, the new products, which we're going to talk about anyway. Yeah. You guys can read the full article. Again, we said we're not going to go through the whole article, but I feel that a lot of these choices really cater to new players, which is what the game is successfully doing.
Straight up.
The game is blowing up. And then you still have investors, oh, it's a day game, I'm going to pull my money out of this game. Oh, how dare you do this? I'm like, yo, the game is a success. Like, it is doing so well.
Just shut your sweet lips, babe.
But this is the hard truth that I think a lot of people need to hear, right? James White has always said, this is about the players. Flesh and Blood is about playing in person.
Yeah.
It's about the player. It's about the player. Tell me where this ever said this game is for investors. Bodoh? Sorry, bodoh is a Malay word for stupid. Yeah. Okay, anyway. Commoner gameplay, beautiful. I've been going on with Mingyu and with our pro players locally that there needs to be a commoner gameplay. There has to be a game set where you cannot be imbalanced by legendary cards. We showed up to the first few games as a newbie.
Yeah.
And some of these newbies are decked out with legendary cards. I'm
like week one, not even week one of playing the game, we were
doing
a blitz tournament for newbies. One of our brothers just walked up with a full decked out Oldhim.
Yeah, how to play? I'm freaking Katsu with Ironhide, dude.
Net worth of his deck?
My car.
About, I feel like you could buy a motorcycle with that.
I drive a 3-wheel car, so it's a very cheap car, but still a car.
But okay, yeah. So I guess the reason for a commoners format game,
right?
Or I mean, if you guys are familiar with the term, the budget decks.
Budget decks is
because some people may not have invested so much money into the game
yet. It doesn't make sense for everyone diving head first. Not everyone does have the liberty.
Not everyone is lucky.
Or luck. You know,
I mean, you pull a Tunic first time you open a box.
That was my first.
That's this.
My first L was a Phantasmal.
What the heck?
Sorry, but not everyone comes into the game buying a booster box.
Yeah, not everyone's a baller.
That has to be the understanding.
But I think that's also the great part about the game, right? Like we tell beginners when we teach them as well, it's not about the expensive cards. You can still win a game without the expensive cards.
Per se.
But if you do have a whole flippin' like decked out baby with like $10,000, it's a high chance of winning.
But see, I like that point.
Yeah.
That point just means that the cards are given value because it's playability.
Yeah.
Playability equals players need it.
Yeah.
Players.
So what's happening?
Players.
Yes, players.
I do think there's going to be a bit of a few problems with that because we were trying to build a common quest kind of thing.
Common quest.
Some classes are very imbalanced with just common cards.
Oh, mechanic.
I'm not going to lie.
Beat the butt out.
It might need some tweaking, but hey, I got some ideas. Hit me up. I don't know who I'm talking to.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
One James Hero card, up to 2 copies here. Yes. Let's move along. Okay, to the big two things: Living Legends.
Living Legends.
As a player, what's your thoughts? Living Legends.
We have been so far away from. I want to say up to this year, Living Legend was always this far away status.
It's never gonna get there.
Like it's not gonna happen in our lifetime. Okay, that's a bit of a stretch.
That's mad.
But freaking bravo, star of the show.
Yep.
In 2 months since the release of Everfest,
overtook freaking
is
Prism.
Right now at how many points?
800 something.
800 points to Living Legend status.
Yep.
That means he's not playable in competitive formats anymore. So that's like the ban, right? I feel like it was intentional.
It should be
intentional. Like Stavo was intentional. He was supposed to come in.
Star of the show.
It's the damn name of the expansion set, man.
Yeah. I mean, then people are going to argue, okay, that's great that you did it that way. But there are so people invested into the game, building their whole decks around Stavo. You know, why would you do this to us? Make a one-off hero and spend so much
But that's
money.
what you said, right, at the start of the video, like Pro Quest, with the big tournaments coming up, shaking up the fact that he may be hitting the status, before the big Pro Tour. That just means people gotta start thinking about it because other decks will start coming up, right?
Correct.
But in general, I know there was a lot of chatter about how LSS might increase the Living Legend points.
Yes.
Because they were like, they're not gonna ban them out so fast.
It'd be a bit mad lah.
But what James did say, which I feel is genius, is they're going to decrease or adjust the number of Living Legend points given out at each event. So and I think that's freaking genius.
That brings it to the point. So I'm not going to blow the trumpet all the time.
Okay.
I feel that there should have been this adjustment pre.
Hey James, this is for you.
It really goes hand in hand with all of the misunderstandings or the unhappiness that's been going on. I think there has to be some fairness because start of the show, Bravo has an amazing ability.
Stavo. Let's go with Stavo.
Stavo has an amazing imbalance in ability. He has amazing new equipment to use. Biggest card pool in the
Basically everything.
Basically literally freaking everything. And also very unfair to players who are very invested into Stavo. Can you imagine coming in, blinging out the deck, you know, like some players do, going for everything you can, and then finding out in 2 months, he's gone, you can't use it. Like, that's your investment.
I think it's okay.
But in some case, I mean, for people who can afford it, great. But for people who literally spend everything to invest into a Stavo deck,
what are you doing, bro?
Also,
like, what are you playing before this? Go back to that lah.
What if their interest is Stavo? Then
it's still really expensive.
But there are questions.
Yeah.
But there are
Seeds, Tunic.
Although,
it's a lot of equipment, dude.
Freaking expensive. I will say that along this line, which will bring us into the main thing about 2.0, which is the first add into Unlimited.
Okay, yeah, that's a big one.
The growth of the game, I think that could have been handled much better because when your player base scales up so much, your point system should have been adjusted accordingly to that scale.
I agree.
Because if you think about it, right, the amount of people playing now during Everfest compared to even Aria is significantly different.
I want to say like 6 times. Okay, that's a big
and
number.
then they are making their Living Legend points based off physical events, right?
Yes.
And we were playing under COVID restrictions, and now
everything's open up. So there's a ramp up in activity.
Yeah,
right?
even without referring to anything else, I think what has been overlooked, and I think there's not enough grace given to the team, is that the adjustments for the societal and economic factors right now to the game is very low. There's just too many live events. The Living Legends points are racking up way too fast. It's not scaled or weighted. That should have been done. But I think there's definitely room to improve it.
Yep.
So like number of events weighted, number of points given out, that should solve a ton of things.
That's a sick line. That's an Aether Flare into a Sonic Boom into a Fog Lightning.
Moving on, talking about sick.
Yep.
The big thing, the discontinuation of the difference between first add and unlimited cards.
This one hit the collectors specifically in a different spot of their bodies. I think because collectors, you know, as the name implies, they like to collect things. And from a collector standpoint, like for you, when Everfest came out, the initial mindset was, let me grab that first ad.
I was just happy to pull first ad. It's my first ad I want to pull.
Yeah, it's the first ad.
for it,
And then after that, it's like, oh, if Unlimiteds pop out,
I'll get it too.
Okay, but the race was to try to get that cold foils.
Yes.
Because cold foils only exist in the first set.
In first ads.
Right? First ads,
sure.
sorry.
Yeah. And I was a bit worried when I saw so many fables being pulled out.
And now, what does that mean for the cold foil equation?
To be honest, I don't know why. Okay, here's my honest opinion about it. The fact that unlimited boxes are now discontinued has just made any of my unlimited boxes that much more valuable to me.
Yeah, everything.
Yeah, because people are missing the point for some of the points, right? The new set coming out with a condensed first add unlimited, I don't know what they're going to call it now. It's just Uprising. The EV for it is different. That means your pull rates. Sorry, the pull rates for the
pull
different
rates,
cards are so it's all in one now. As compared to if I buy an existing unlimited box from the past, it's a control EV within that system that I know I can pull a cold foil from the first add or for the unlimited. So if you ask me, I'm okay. I'm okay as a collector having an unlimited box in my house and a first add box. Am I excited for the new one? Of course, because heuristically, simple is better. Having a single set is
for
the
sure.
best. It's like that. And people are complaining, oh, the pull rates are like this, oh, the pull rates are that. I'm like, what about the other TCGs that you play?
Yeah, some of you are gambling with your life savings.
Like, if you're...
I don't know if I needed to go there, but...
I want to talk about investing so much.
Yeah, that's great.
Don't get me wrong. I respect a ton of investors on the platform.
Yeah, for sure.
Rudy Alpha Investments is my go-to for everything. Like, even we got some tidbits from our professional players here. David from his team. He said, having one set, he's the most excited for this. There's many upsides to the new model. As a player, you're still excited to pull CFs, and CF will most likely retain their values because they're so much harder to pull.
Yeah.
See, makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense.
If not, they might go even higher.
The first ad was meant for collectors, but because players need to get it ASAP, this makes unlimited prints not as wanted.
Understand.
I would say though, half-half. Because when we entered, we needed all the unlimited versions. There was no way we were buying first ad prints of WTR.
Oh, for
There was
sure.
no way we were buying first ad prints of Monarch.
Yeah.
We needed unlimited, so it did service some. And the people who were
No, but also that was the only thing left.
that was the only thing left.
So, if anything, it's more balanced now.
It's balanced,
Right.
because now there's one set. This one set will be retail.
Yes.
And when the one set goes out of print, it goes out of print.
Of course.
And that is that. So is this a great move, to be honest?
Yes.
Yes.
I think it is.
I think when James himself admits that now the first ad
love
is
James.
no longer a viable thing,
Yeah.
that's the most responsible thing.
He could have
a
just
founder is
kept
gonna
going.
make. Yeah,
And like made more money.
because everyone FOMOs in the first ad.
Oh, everyone just bought the amount of Everfest cases we saw fly off the
To be
shelves.
honest, that was the most worrying part,
That
right?
was-
Really, like how many Fable first ads are you going to pull?
I don't know. You see, that's a collector's economic insight. I'm just like, oh
I'm
yeah, I
really-
put one on my first box.
But see, that's the thing, right? Players need it, so they pull, they're happy.
Yeah.
But collectors, investors, wow, so many for what?
Also, yeah.
See, so
Yeah.
I think the real hard truth we all got to admit.
I don't know anyone who runs Vela High though. I need to find somebody who runs Vela High.
I run in my album to collect basically. I love collecting cards. So the hard truth I think we all need to face is
Yes.
the overly invested, the people who are taking a trading card game as an investment. Things change.
Yeah.
And the hardest truth to admit is that because we were in a COVID era, things were not normal. How things blew up was not normal. How this game's success blew up also was not normal, which is
insane.
great for the game in the long run. But will people be able to survive the short-term ups and downs?
Hard to speak.
The last thing we don't talk about is the history packs. I'm the most torn about this
Why?
because
So let's be like
I'm the most torn
the
about this.
pro and con.
I know
You can start.
it's so needed.
Okay.
It's so needed. Like it just makes sense. Again, we talked about it a bit earlier. If you're a new player coming in maybe 3 years after, 5 years after WTR is out of print, and we want a tunic because a tunic is one of the best equipments out there, what are you going to get? How are you going to get it? I think history packs solve it. Although my argument for it is WTR is still there. Everything is still there. And I don't think we have enough history yet to release a history pack. Just saying lah.
Yeah, I agree.
History pack, maybe the branding a bit off lah. Maybe call it support pack lah. Or
Legacy.
reinforcements or something like that. Yeah. Like history pack assumes that I have 10 years behind my history.
Yeah.
Now let me
We're
reprint
a
my
bit
history.
too early for history.
I feel the white borders, although I did start something and I didn't need to watch anyone else to get this, I've noticed that every time a card reprints in Flash and Blood, the design does not change.
The design does not change.
But furthermore, the first thing I realized was it actually decreases from an extended art into just a foil and a normal art into a non-foil. And then it just made sense to me. Oh, the white border is not as nice as the black border.
Yeah.
So the value of the visuals are continuously decreasing from rarity to rarity. And to me that just stood out because when I play a game like Pokemon, the Charizard card, for example, the biggest chase, it gets more and more bling as the sets go along, as the reprints go along, and the abilities change as well. So to me, this just makes so much sense because the older cards are going to look nicer. They are the first. They're the first. People are going to want to buy them at high value.
Yeah.
But because of the nature of this game, I need the same equipment. I have a cheaper version to buy.
Yeah, I think prime example would
Which
be
makes sense.
the Arcanite Skull Cap from the Everfest pack
Best
versus
example actually.
the Rainbow Foil from the Arcane Rising.
And a dull cap.
I hate it. I hate that my Arcanite Skull Cap isn't shiny. James, let's talk about it. But do I need it in the
You
game?
need it.
I do. It's my effing bread and butter.
Right.
But that doesn't mean, and I think this is the interesting part, is that I would still fork out money to buy a rainbow foil, even though I already have one.
Yeah. See, this is where entitlement comes in, right? We all feel entitled to have shiny things.
Yeah, but
I want the best.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you just use the card to play.
I'm just using it to play.
If I could non-foil my whole deck, I will.
You don't mean
but
that.
That's me.
Yeah, you don't mean that.
I will non-foil my whole deck to keep my foils.
My
nice
blitz, right? I have one red and blue Emeritus Scolding, and they're both Excited Arts.
You're disgusting. I would just keep it in my
lucky draw.
Yes.
Didn't spend money.
Honestly, this is such a timely move. There's been a lot of things to fix because of the market conditions of everyone going in and out of the hype of collectibles. I think James did a brilliant job being transparent and community. Mr. White.
J-Dog, come on.
There's a lot of fear, and all this fear comes from price dropping in value. Guys, this is not player fear. As a player, if some really good equipment drops, I want it.
I mean, for me, as a player, if I'm thinking about like just buying packs, my immediate priority isn't getting a CF. I just need to get cards to play, man.
Correct. See, all this fear just comes from people who are invested into it, fearing that their investments are going down. And here's the thing. You are one player. There's like 10 more players lining up, waiting to get a good card.
Yeah.
So I would like the price to drop, to be very honest. If I ask you, you want to buy a Tunic, would you buy it at 600 or would you buy it at 200?
Oh, if I'm just
starting
to play, 200.
Yeah. So think about it from that manner. If more people enter the game, in the long term, the game becomes big, your investments are taken care of, and they become more valuable. Don't look at the short term. Don't go and, I mean, that's also the thing about the situation now, not just with Flesh and Blood, but with everything across the board. Even more transparent in crypto. People are here for the short run. People are here for a quick flip. People are here for immediate profit. They want it now. These are all the guys who fear the most and who are just spending the most and selling out the fastest.
Yeah.
So if you really do believe in the game, just play it, understand it, build a community around it, build your deck, and then you understand why this is so needed. I support it, although I still did believe in First Ed versus Unlimited. I thought it was a great format.
I'm excited for the new one.
But hey,
because you know, if I play draft now, if I'm doing a draft event and I pull like a cold foil, I don't have to put that into my deck.
Yes.
I can just
as a collector, I was like,
thank you, James.
My hand shaking. Yeah. You know?
And that's happened to me.
That was a brilliant thing to do.
I didn't pull a cold foil, but you know.
I think we will end the episode here. And
so much to talk about.
We're going to try.
I know you guys have so much to comment about as well.
Please go
James,
ahead.
if you're watching this, just answer some questions below. Guys, if you're watching this and you want James to answer you, drop some questions. He might answer. He might not.
I have so much to predict again for Uprising.
Oh, we're going to do a separate video just for that.
I feel like I want to make a theories and hypothesis. Because I've done 4 in the past and all of them come true.
Yeah.
So James...
Well, James.
LSS. Yo. I feel... Alright, just saying here. New ninja, new weapon, all on the way, hopefully. But yeah, we'll see.
You know why it's called Uprising, right?
The law. You said the law.
The law. Because at the end of the latest storytelling
article
that Mr. James and his friends did.
Right.
Our girl, Dorothea, who's now imbued with the light energies of life.
Right.
Hanging out with Bolton, be like, yo, these guys coming hard.
Right.
We need reinforcements.
Right.
There is now an uprising against the forces of evil.
Right.
It could be completely, I could be wrong. It could just be called Uprising because
at this point,
it's a card, right?
At this point, is great news.
It's great news.
Because with big light cards has to have come big shadow cards.
Yes. They're going to pull up more creatures.
I think transparency is always a great thing.
Yeah.
And guys, this is 2 years in. It's 2 years in for a card game and it's doing so well.
Yeah.
I don't think the response to this is negativity. I think just give feedback and build it better. In the end of the day, if it wins, everybody wins. That's it.
It's a win-win.
Nothing's wrong with the game. The game is beautiful, the game is fun, and people are always improving the game, so thumbs up. That's it. Hope you guys enjoyed that episode. That's a bit of a long one. Leave your comments, thoughts, and everything, and we'll be back with more if you guys like stuff like this.
James, you know what to do.
KL is quite close to New Zealand. Just saying. No, it's halfway around the world.
It's not that far. Compared to like America.
Freaking far. Freaking far.
Okay.